Welcome to Nation in Conversation. We're talking about the South African Agriculture Development Agency. And with me is Pierre Venter. Pierre, you from the Banking Association.
I am, yes.
In any developmental role or developmental targets or aims, funding is critical. But I want to take us back a number of years. The Banking Association has actually put a plan on the table in terms of funding and broadening the agriculture base. Just give me some background on that.
Sure. Back in 2015, together with the Agricultural Business Chamber, we actually recognized that the issue of land will only become sustainable if we actually have meaningful land and agrarian reform in this country. So we actually sat down together and we actually developed a funding model back in 2015. I think the first thing that for me is absolutely critical is that it has to be meaningful land reform and agrarian reform. That's probably the most important.
So meaningful, not a few fat cats getting rich.
Absolutely. What we tried to do with our funding model, and at the time we said we would commit ourselves to 10 billion rand, R1 billion a year over a 10-year period. And how we came up with those numbers is that we actually wanted to achieve the NDP goals, Chapter 6 of our National Development Plan. So meaningful land and agrarian reform, critical. I think a level playing field, that you introduce competition, very important. It was premised on supporting farmers looking to undertake land reform initiatives, so the farmer would choose their beneficiary. The actual initiative itself was premised on commercial principles. After all, we do lend depositors money, so we have to do it at a reasonable risk. By implication, what that does mean is that your lender will actually have applicants coming into them for a land reform initiative. The lender would evaluate the risk aspects of that, and if they believed it was commercially viable, they would then put this forward. Now, one of the ingredients that was missing was very often the deals are sub-commercial deals unless there's some support from government. And what we tried to do is get a partnership going between government and private sector financiers. And I use the word private sector financiers because it's not just commercial banks, it's also your cooperatives and whatnot. That we would partner together where you would enhance the deal, either in the form of equity, grant money, or alternatively a risk enhancer which reduces risk to acceptable levels. And that blended finance model that I'm describing now would translate those deals into commercially viable and sustainable deals. And the beneficiaries were emerging and sub-commercial black farmers.
4 years down the line, is that still on the table?
Very much so. Unfortunately, I think 2015, our model was there at the wrong time. 2019, I think our world has changed. I think the agency will fulfill exactly that role. It's that conduit to actually translate those deals and align the private sector financiers to play a meaningful role, deepen market penetration, get to those sub-commercial farmers and those smallholders who up to now have been viewed as being too risky, where you've actually done two things. You've improved affordability either through soft funding coming through there, and that blend of finance makes it affordable, or alternatively helping to de-risk the deal to acceptable levels.
Pierre, thank you very much. And I think I get the impression, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there is more positive momentum this time around than in the last number of years.
I hope so. I'm saddened that we've actually had to get to this stage before we actually start getting traction. We should have started this journey 4 years ago, and I think the ADA will play a vital role going forward.
Pierre, all the best, and I wish you all the best, and I sincerely hope that this time around we achieve the targets of meaningful agrarian and agriculture reform. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
This was Theo Foster from Nation in Conversation. Good day.
Nation in Conversation, in collaboration with ENCA, moving the needle on the agriculture debate, in proud partnership with Senves, Bayer, Nedbank, Afgri, Hinterland and NWK.